Gamma rays. Now, gamma rays pack the most energy of any wave, and they're made by the hottest, most energetic objects in the universe. They also produce the Incredible Hulk, but in the real life, gamma rays are a form of electromagnetic radiation. Radio waves are the same, infrared radiation is the same, ultraviolet radiation, X-rays, microrays, but gamma rays, they can be used to treat cancer, and gamma rays bursts are studied by astronomers. And as I said earlier, they also produce the Incredible Hulk, and I believe the She-Hulk too. Now, in the early 1970s, there was a satellite. It was actually called the Small Astronomy Satellite number 2, also known as SAS-2, SAS-B, or Explorer number 48. And it was a gamma ray telescope that was launched by NASA. And it was launched on November 15th, 1972 into low Earth orbit. And it completed its observations on June 8th, 1973. And it was able to send back images of gamma rays. But also on that day, on November 15th, sorry about that, November 15th, 1972, the Doobie Brothers, they also released their version of Jesus is Just All Right with Me. Welcome to the Steven Thompson Experience. My name is Steven Thompson, and this is my experience. We're going on a journey using music and a history as a roadmap. And at the end, hopefully, we'll have taken something old to teach us something new. This is the interaction between the spiritual, the secular, unlikely encounters in unexpected places, and exploration of what I have known to be. Thinking about what is possible, all the while embracing who you are, who we are, and how together, whether it be as one, two, or many, perhaps we can make our part of the world a little bit better than it currently is. I hope to educate, inform, and inspire. And this is a special 5-part series. I'm calling it the Jesus series. This is exploring unlikely encounters with Jesus, not in a church, but in secular music by secular artists. And first up is Jesus is All Right With Me by the Doobie Brothers. The Doobie Brothers released their version of Jesus is Just All Right on their second album, Toolhouse Street, in 1972. And they released the song in November of 1972, as I said, the same day that the satellite to study gamma rays was launched. Went on to become a hit. It rose all the way up to number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in February. And it had a short version of the song that was released on the radio was longer than the one on the album. In fact, the Doobie Brothers were not the original composers of the song Jesus is All Right. In fact, the Doobie Brothers heard a version that the Byrds used, and the Doobie Brothers went in and recorded the song themselves. Now, obviously, this was not a church band. The Doobie Brothers were not a church band. They didn't perform in churches. They performed in arenas. They were a rock and roll band, but they recorded this song. None of the individual band members were particularly religious, but the song became very popular among Christians during the early 70s, and it really was popular in the hippie counterculture that was involved in the Jesus movement. Here's some of the lyrics I want to look at. Jesus is just all right with me. Jesus is just all right. I don't care what they may know. I don't care what they may do. I don't care what they may know. Jesus is all right with me. Oh yeah, Jesus, he's my friend. Jesus, he's my friend. He took me by the hand, led me far from this land. Jesus, he's my friend. Jesus is all right with me. Jesus is all right. Oh yeah. And when you look at the spelling of all right in the song, Jesus is all right is spelled Alright, as opposed to Allright, Allright. Allright with one L comes from a British phrase in the 1800s that refers to mate, friend. So you hear the words friend in the song. The term all right with one L is mate, friend. So if you are an American and you hear the term Jesus is my Lord and Savior within the walls of a church, the concept is true, but outside the four walls of a church, Jesus is a friend who shows up in the four Gospels, because we see Jesus eating dinner with people, celebrating with people, and calling his followers friends. So friendship, people who do positive things for other individuals. And we know that there are people like that who have shown up time and time again in American history. And today, John Henry Yates, or Jack Yates, he was a minister. He was also an educator, and he was born a slave to Robert and Rachel Yates in Gloucester County, Virginia, July of 1828. Now, as a slave, he learned to read and to write, and he learned how to be a carpenter. And while he was enslaved, he got married to a woman named Harriet Willis. And Harriet lived on a different plantation, and they had 11 children. So when Harriet's master was going to move to Texas, Jack Yates begged to go along, and he was granted permission. So enslaved people were set free on Juneteenth in 1865. Now, they had been set free 2 years before that, but they didn't find out in Texas until June 19th. So the Yates family, when they found out on Juneteenth, it wasn't called Juneteenth in 1865, but the Yates family moved to Houston, and Yates became a handyman and also a minister. And while he was a minister, he did work around working with the freed slaves and freed women who were moving into Houston after the Civil War. And there was a Black Baptist church, the first one, called Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, was put together in Houston. And in January 1866, Yates became the founding pastor. By 1875, the congregation, almost all of them, were former slaves, and they had built their own church. So Yates, while he was the minister, the church became influential in Houston in political life, social life, and cultural life of the African Americans in Houston. He also worked in education. So the federal government was helping out the former enslaved people by setting up the Freedmen's Bureau. And the Freedmen's Bureau put schools into the churches in Houston. And Yates allowed Antioch to be used as one of the first school sites. And also Yates helped bring the first Baptist college to Texas, Bishop's Academy. And that prepared students for employment in trades, business, and ministry. So Yates demonstrated a characteristic of friendship. A characteristic of friendship is being a good person to other people. You show up in the world helping others. And that's what he did. He set up a church, he set up a school, he raised a family, he set up a college. These are characteristics of a good friend. What keeps us happiest as we go through life? Well, there was an 81-year-old study done at Harvard University to answer that question. And they found in all the results, they drew a conclusion: good relationships keep us happy. And later research, it showed that great relationships keep us healthy, and it helps everything that we do, from our mental sharpness to our longevity. So when we think about our community, our relationships, And even though our community may change throughout our lives, it is very important to have a support system. Now, a support system doesn't come automatically. So we have to work to be a friend, and we have to help others be good friends, and we all grow together. Matthew 11:28, it says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The core of this is friendship. Friendship is the ability when people come to you who are tired and they are burdened. Are you a person who will give somebody rest? Or are you a person who are going to be annoyed at the problems and the sufferings of those around you? If you are somebody who is annoyed with the people who come to you, then you're not being a great friend. A good friend supports and listens when their other friends need it, because we all succumb to anxiety. We all are going to be weary and burdened, and we need friends to help us when we are being weary and burdened, and we need to be people who are like that as well. So we are imitating these characteristics, these qualities. So when the Doobie Brothers say, "Jesus is all right with me," with the spelling A-L instead of A-L-L, they are meaning friend. And when we have a friend, everything can be all right. A-L-L, meaning safe and secure. That's what we're talking about today. Thank you for listening to the Steven Thompson Experience. I come here to educate, inform, and inspire. This is a platform for leaders and followers, hopeful optimists, careful pragmatists, people who want to bend the arc of the universe towards justice. I hope I have moved a bit in that direction. And if not, I'll try again next time. As for you, remember, you have talents, you have gifts, and there are things for you to achieve. You can pursue them. You can run your own race, and you go and do it. Hey, here at Steven Thompson Experience, we have a brand new webpage. So you just search Steven Thompson Experience and you'll find it. Check it out. Subscribe to my blog. I'm writing every day. Enter a giveaway. We have one more day left of the giveaway. So if you're listening to this on its original entry today, Sunday, July 19th, 18th actually, Sunday, July 18th, you can enter tomorrow or tonight. Enter the giveaway. Win a mystery box. And even if you don't, if you're listening to this later on, still subscribe to the blog, subscribe to the newsletter, A Shot of Dopamine. Enter my giveaway, subscribe, buy my book. Keep coming back to this spot, because next week we are going to look at the song Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode. Thank you so much for listening. This is Steven Thompson, and have a great rest of your day, evening. Take care.